Hello guys and welcome back to what I believe is day 9 of Dungeons, Dragons, and Space Shuttles. Today's episode, I don't have much of a plan, but as a recap from last time, we built this nice little shed and we got our first set of machines going. And I've been putting in a few ingots to make plates. This compactor is amazing. We get to save some resources whenever we make these plates. Before it used to take us 2 ingots, now it only takes 1 ingot. I think we'll probably just progress through our quest book and get a few more machines going and exploring those routes that we have. And maybe even doing some more additions to our farm, our lovely farm. And I hope you will stick around for that, and let's get going. If you didn't watch last episode, I suggest you do. We made this engineer's workshop where we are able to craft some technological components such as these batteries I'm making right now, as well as these circuit boards and other items like that. These batteries I'm making are going to be used in this recipe right here, which is to make the atomic reconstructor, which is essentially a laser beam. Whenever this laser is powered, it is going to shoot out a beam, and whatever's in that beam gets atomically reconstructed into a different type of material. Now it's going to just keep spitting out. I can use a redstone torch to toggle this over to pulse mode, meaning it needs a redstone pulse to activate. After that, a button or a lever will allow you to control when it spits out its beam. So let's do some testing. Let's throw in some iron. Take your bets now. So what's going to happen when I reconstruct it? Oh, and it's turned into these pretty little stars. And these crystals will be used in some recipes. That was also part of the quest book. Let's also do it to lapis. Get this. Let's throw some redstone in there. See what we get. Alright, those will be useful. And lastly, let's throw in a diamond. Let's see what the diamond gets us. Ooh, a prettier looking diamond. Obviously the quest book told me to do all this, but with all of these we unlock new materials to craft new things like this crusher. As you can see, we need a lot of the Inori plates, which was the iron being reconstructed, and we also need some of the redstone in here. And these basic plates need more redstone and this black quartz and all this stuff. So this machine will be being used to essentially process our materials, and we have unlocked more crafting recipes to work through now. As I unlock more crafting recipes, I still constantly need my basic resources such as wood, hoping I can use these seed woods that I crafted up and use the essence I get off of them to get a good amount of wood, is my hope. And we are about to see how much this has paid off. Since episode, I believe, 7, I've been tending to these magic seeds continuously. And I think it's time for us to see how much resources we can actually get from these. The orientation you put the wood in gives you the type of wood. So if I put it in this orientation, I get oak. I can actually combine my stone essence with my dirt essence and get gravel out of it, which is great. So far 24 and 24. It's not great. Maybe I should focus on increasing the amount of seeds I have right now, or maybe finding a way to automate it so it's not based off of how often I can go and farm it. If there's an automation system going, it'll be doing it constantly. I can get more wood that way. As a recent quest reward, I got this random chicken egg. I'm hoping we can finally get our female chicken. It's another rooster. So now that I have both the atomic reconstructor and the press, or the compactor rather, I can make these nori plates, which I can use to craft up the small storage crates. Which, if you didn't know, are not small. And now with these storage crates, my storage system looks a bit more organized and tighter together. I was able to shave off a few blocks. And if you're curious on how I'm making these items, I'm using what's known as a clear item frame, which is made with glass and glass panes. You just put it on there, and you have to shift right click an item in there, and it stays. And the best part is, even clicking on the item, it just goes right through. You're not gonna like rotate in the item frame. You get to open it up. Instead, if a typical item frame, you end up rotating it like that. This one, you just get access to your thing. Much better. Once I get a bit more resources, I'll do this side as well. And while we are on the topic of storage, I'm going to go ahead and craft up what is known as a dank null. The questing book wanted me to do it earlier in the chapter, but I decided not to. Yeah, sure, we'll get more coal, why not? It's pretty much the second quest you could do once you unlock your tier 2 quest line. I waited off until now to do it. This dank null is really good, mainly for mining. So if I open up its UI, you can see we have 9 slots up on top. I can assign a slot to grab this cobblestone, which I come across very often while I'm mining. So while I'm mining, if I run around and pick up more stone, it's going to end up in my dank null. Now if you hover over, it says it has a maximum of 128 items per slot. So I have 128 right here. So what's going to happen if I pick up more cobblestone? Is it going to clutter my inventory? What's going to happen? It goes in here, but it gets nulled. It gets thrown away into the trash, essentially. Any extra blocks that are specified in here will essentially be wiped away. So this is great for different types of stones and items that you don't want to keep a whole lot of. You just want to like throw away, essentially. So this is great for like strip mining and vein mining, doing that kind of stuff. Having all that just get thrown away and access, just keep a few stacks of the items, the rest of it gets thrown away. Great for mining trips. Back to the quest book. It is my understanding that these quests that have this special outline with like the pointed stuff around them are the like main quests to get to the end, and these ones that are just square are more like either side quest or things are not as important. So looking at it, like doing these things, they might not have a quest afterwards, but these, with these points, they definitely do have a quest that comes after it, from what I've been able to witness so far. So with that, I think I'm going to go down this main line right here, which has to do with the thermal expansion mods. So for next, I gotta make some coolant cells. The quest book now would like me to make another form of energy generation. We had the coal generator and the solar panels. Now we have a steam dynamo, which is going to use water and probably coal to produce energy. Maybe it's more efficient than the one I have right now. The next item on our board is one that's a bit more interesting. It is a motor, which I know is a crafting component in a few more machines. One of which being the sawmill, which will let us get more planks for each oak log we get. I'm not sure why that quest activated. I was hoping for that quest to activate. And after the motor, we're going to make a pair of saw blades. The next quest in the guidebook wants us to make these tubes, which require just dyes, but I don't have a good renewable method for getting these dyes, so I'm gonna go ahead and go plant some stuff real quick. Now we can make a set of these tubes. One set is green and the other is orange. And with all the stuff we've done so far, we can go ahead and make a pulverizer and the sawmill. So we have a few more machines to add to our collection. I think I'm going to take some time to reorganize this mess. For now, this layout is much better for me. These machines, they do not automatically inject themselves, so I can't put a chest here and have it pull from it. I would have to make a hopper for that, I believe. Or if I can find a way of making item pipes, but they can automatically eject. So for instance, my sawmill, which I'm very excited for, I can put my wood in here. Now, instead of using the hand saws like before and using up, you know, ingots of copper, iron, or whatnot, I'm just using energy to saw through this. And I get, for each plank, I believe I am getting, yeah, I'm getting 6 planks for 1 log with a chance of getting sawdust as well. And sawdust, we already know, is useful in this pack for multiple things. For making paper, for making the electrolyte, for making this silicone. So, great that I finally have this. Even has a cool animation about, like, chopping wood. That's kind of cool. And of course we have the pulverizer, which we can use to ore double. And eventually we can make a much more automated version of ore doubling versus the smeltery. I think for the time being, the smeltery might still be how I process my stuff, just because energy, you know, I got 2 solar panels and some coal going. I think for now is just, in my brain, makes sense to still process things with the smeltery, but I definitely will be processing things with this sawmill. What I'm gonna do next is not in the quest book, but it's something I want to do, which is to make apiaries for my bees. As I mentioned in one of my previous episodes when I first set up my bees, in this bee house, I can't have them breed whatsoever. And what that means is, whenever I make a queen, she's only gonna output a princess and a drone of the same species. So this unusual queen will only ever give me unusual drone and princesses within the bee house. However, if I upgrade them to an apiary, now I can start mix and matching, and you'll still end up with some sort of queen, but she has a possibility to output offspring that are different species. My first goal in crossbreeding these bees is going to be getting what's known as a common bee, which is essentially the first mutation that you're going to be expecting from them. I'm not going to be able to, right now with the base bees I have, I'm not going to be able to make some crazy bee that can produce iron ingots. I have to work my way through the process to refine their genetics until I can get something that can actually do something like that. So for now, I'm combining a queen with a different type of drone like you saw for all of these. The princess grows into a queen. It stays the exact same as it was. The chance is that there's a small chance of the offspring being a different type of breed, and that's what we're hoping for. So as long as all these bees are nice and happy, we should start seeing over some time a few different bees pop up. And with that said, these bees have been buzzing around, and they have been really spreading these flowers around. There's some in my farm right there. Yeah, yeah, there was no flowers over there before. So good for them for spreading the pollen and making more flowers around. Obviously, the bees are going to take time to go through and do what they do. The bees will take time to go through their lifespan and produce the offspring and all that. In the meantime, why don't we work on a little side project? I have not been using this blacksmith workshop as much as I would like to. The main reason being that the methane gas is kind of a bit annoying to make with the squeezer and the biomass and all that. But there is a more passive way to go about making it. If we can go into this quest here. I did skip this because it allowed me to go all the way around, just because I didn't have a whole lot of resources at the time, but this will allow me to extract methane from the hummus right here. As you can see, the hummus, I don't know, I thought you put that on like your chips or something, I don't remember, but it will extract 2 mil buckets every 5 ticks for an average of, we'll say 3 buckets for an average of 1 block. So this is a more passive way. It'd be a slower way, but I have so many things going on the farm. I'm always doing other things, so this just ticking away in the background instead of me having to jump on the squeezer. I much prefer that. So let's bookmark that and start getting all the things we need, which doesn't seem that bad. And like that, we have our fluid extractor. And I think I should still have that block somewhere. Well, I have a few of them right here. I think I'm going to set this up over in the corner right here. So I should be able to place this like that, maybe? Alright, I'm assuming this is the block. This is the block I should place this on. And if we look inside, look, it's already grabbing a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to put a tank right here. Alright, that doesn't pull out of it. That seems to have fixed it. I'm using the pipes and the servo that the quest book gave me as a reward earlier on in the pack. And it looks like this one's like, the block has like the breaking pattern on it. So it's slowly degrading. It's taking what it can. And then we'll see how much we have after that. So this is great because I can do other things on the farm. And this will be acquire me more methane in the background, which will allow me to craft other items that I just haven't wanted to because I was short on the methane. And that has given my bees time to go through their natural life cycles. And now I can see if we got lucky. So remember that each one of these have an interesting pair breed within them. We're hoping for what's known as a common bee. And let's see. So you can see we have different types of bees in this one. We have a mystic princess, and then we have 2 forest drones. And we'll continue looking. There we go. We have our first common drone. Alright, that one's still chucking away. We have another common drone. And, we have a common princess. So this one, we're going to breed with a common drone and the princess. Hopefully, just acquire more of these common bees. That's our hope. As for the rest of these, we're going to keep mixing them up. So this princess with that one. That with that one. That one. What's that? Mystical. Go with the unusual. And the reason these bees aren't stacking as well, if you haven't noticed, some bees do stack and some don't. They don't if they have different genomes and genes within them. So for instance, all the bees you gather up from the wild, those are all natural bees. They're all going to stack in your inventory. Once you start breeding them, you can get some that have different genes within them, different attributes. Those will no longer stack. You can figure out what those genes are using a bee analyzer, but right now we don't have the means of creating that just yet. Okay, as we can see that the block here has been broken now, and we gained, a little bit over 3 buckets worth of the methane gas. So this is great. I'm going to keep replacing this and just doing my stuff. I wanted to use the methane that we have just made to make myself a better hammer to us and go mining with. And I was trying to figure out what hammer would be the best for me to make in terms of the highest durability. And it turns out I think the best one I could make right now is the Invar hammer. Now, Invar is not something we have at the moment, but it's something we can easily make. It's an alloy made with 1 part nickel, 2 parts iron. So, if I threw in 20 nickel, I'm throwing in 40 iron ore. That's going to melt down. It should alloy together, make Invar. And then that Invar we can use to make a nice and durable hammer that has 850 and compared to just 500 for iron or just 350 for the copper. It also would make for a better tool material than what I have right now. As you can see, this pickaxe which I've been using, when I add this, I get increased to, it looks like, both the durability and the attack, which isn't that important. But the attack improvement is nice for my sword. It also increases the mining level all the way to obsidian, which I'm not going to be mining obsidian with a shovel, but I guess I could. And I can finally make myself my Invar hammer, which I've been wanting to make. Here's a bit of a surprise. This queen, whatever it was, gave me a culture drone, which I was under the impression would happen after I would get my common drone. I thought it was like I needed a common drone to make that, but hey, I'll take it. The reason I wanted this hammer is so I can clear out a nice larger area underneath my barn, which you listening, right? Listen. You can hear those goats going. I'm going to dig out a nice little section. Now you might be asking why I need to dig a big old hole underneath my barn. It's for this. The coke oven. Which is used to turn this coal into something known as coal coke. And as a side product, I'm going to create creosote oil. Now right now, creosote oil will end up being more useful for me. But in the long run, this type of coal is the kind we need in order to make steel in the blast furnace. Now the blast furnace we're not going to get to that right now because that requires me entering to the nether. But for now we can stockpile fuel and stockpile the creosote oil. And to output it, we're just going to set up another one of these, which is good because I only had 2. And the room could be improved on. I think this room looks a lot better now. I did this like little thing over here where there's actually an exposed cave behind here, but I use these like tiles of like it looks like sheet metal like plastered on there, kind of like mimic the fact that there's like actual hole out behind that. It's not just solid rock afterwards. I don't know, trying something new. But the room overall I think looks good, and this oven has been going along. We have 14 of these, and we have a good amount of that creosote oil already stocked up. Alrighty, I think that might just be about the end of this episode. Later in the day, time for me to start thinking about dinner in real life. So thank you for joining me. I think this room is a good addition. Hopefully soon we'll be able to add the blast furnace right next to it. So I think possibly next episode we might have to delve into the nether and grab the stuff we need to make that blast furnace real quick. Hope you guys will join me for that one. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like and a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to watch the rest of my video series before you subscribe. You know, make sure you enjoy this content. So click on that playlist of the series if you like it. Go ahead and subscribe. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.